What's up, YouTube? So today, I got a cool video for you guys. So this could be for literally any healer or any caster. This is going to be on juking and trying to fake cast, you know, what to do, the psychology of it, how to be better at it. And then you could also use this as a as like a melee or someone who kicks to help you out as well, because you can kind of learn what the tricks people do and how to counter them. So first off, I want to just kind of I'm going to go through like how to, like, you know, like physically how to fake cast, you know, using strafing. I think some people do stop casting macros. I don't really use that. I use strafing myself. The speed, that's pretty much the whole name of the game is, you know, do I juke fast? Do I juke slow? Do I juke in the middle? Do I, you know, change it up? And then different comps that, like specifically rogue mage, the specifics and you know, how I try to juke against them, not casting for a while, and then what happens at different ratings, corners, and probably I'm gonna add this like little, I guess, little tricks that we can do, and then, you know, how different classes might, you know, try to kick differently. And then also important one that kind of overlooked is intentionally getting kicked. I use this all the time. So first up, how to strafe is, you know, I mean, I think a lot of people do it differently. Me personally, I just use strafe. So like if I'm casting regrowth, I just strafe. I press strafe. I think some people have like stop casting macros. Like I think it would just be like / stop casting. I'm pretty sure. I don't know exactly. I don't use it. But you know, all I usually do is strafe. At least that's what CB do. If I do, I mean, the rare case, I do have a class that I'm playing that doesn't have, like, is casting while moving. I for some reason it's really inefficient, but I would just hit escape. Like if I'm hitting here, I'll hit escape. Not very efficient. But I rarely get in this, you know, maybe like Bowie with like Stellar Drift, or like maybe like a mage with Scorches or something like that. I don't even know who casts while moving anymore. Anyway, that's general gist of it. Like, you know, I cast and then I strafe. Doesn't matter what direction it is, could be in any direction. I mean, just careful that you're obviously not putting yourself in a bad spot. You know, you don't want to like big cast and then literally full run with it. But yeah, so then next up, speed. Okay, so this is name of the game, man. My best recommendation when it comes to the beginning, like you're in a brand new arena, you know, you're gonna cast your first time, that's in the open, that could be vulnerable to a kick. I always juke fast, always, no matter what, because the whole name of the game is trying to read the other opponent and trying to see how they play, how do they kick, and how can I counter that. And you can never go wrong with juking early first. You know, it's not a low risk. You know, they might kick you fast, and you're like, oh shit, okay, I'm good. Or they might kick you late, and you know they want to kick late, and then nothing's gonna happen out of it. You don't want to be casting like the whole time right away, because very likely you're gonna get kicked. Even if you try to juke late, people tend to like kicking early on. But yeah, I always try to juke fast. Like I literally do like something like that, especially if someone's, you know, whether someone's on me or a caster, no matter either or, especially a melee, and especially if you're playing a little bit lower rating. Melee tends to try to kick really quick, more quicker than casters. So I always juke early. If I can get, maybe I'll get kicks. If I'm not getting kicks, maybe I'll try a little bit more. Maybe I'll go like to like about a quarter of the way in. But juking really quick, it works a lot, very often. And then after that, it becomes like a mind game. You got to try to read the opponent and see what they're doing. There are little tricks I use when I'm playing lower rated versus higher rating. Lower rating, you got to think of the psychology of it. Like, you know, this player isn't as comfortable with kicking. They're not going to kick as quickly. The reaction time might be a little bit slower. So I've actually had times where I juke so fast, like too fast, not so fast. I juke too fast, and then I start casting again, and they kick me instantaneously on the second one. And it wasn't because they knew I was kicking. It was their reaction time from the first cast. So like there's like little things you got to look for, but because casting that quick is sometimes needed at higher rating, because you know people can predict like, all right, this guy needs to cast at this point. I'm ready to kick. Like I'm ready to have my finger on the button. Like I mean, I've seen like Peekaboo do that a lot, because he uses his kick as a release button. It's like he'll have it held down already, because he knows this guy has to cast, and then the second he casts, boom, so it's an instant kick. So yeah, it's a little bit of psychology to it. And another thing is positioning of the other player, right? So sometimes, you know, the player is probably more likely to try to kick you fast if they're on you, like a melee on you, like a Woodwalker or Warrior, whatever it may be. They're less likely if there's a melee on your teammate, right? I mean, you also have to take into consideration, like don't even know what they call it, wherever the target's facing. A lot of the, you know, especially the melee, they need to be facing you or in range to kick you, right? So something like, for example, like a DK or a mage or a lock even. Sometimes when you're playing at those a little bit lower rating, you know, if you see them occupied in something, like let's say he's combusting or casting a sheep or something like that, he's just not facing you. It doesn't look like he's really paying attention in that. Sometimes you can get away with just casting in their face. Like sometimes I know, like, all right, this guy's probably not going to kick this. He looks like he's not really paying attention in that case. You know, you don't really get away with that when you're playing higher, but it is something that you can take into, because I know I have people that watch my stream that are like lower and higher rated, so I want to try to give you guys some tips that would probably work better at lower rating as well. And then again, melee, you got to watch all the time. I always try to do quick. It works a lot of the time. After that, you know, when it comes to trying to juke like very skilled kickers, it's just alternating the kick time all the time. So something I like to do a lot if I don't see it working is I will actually, if I know they're not kicking me early, right? I keep trying to juke, they're not falling for it. I try to juke a little later. I don't get it. Sometimes what people try to do is they realize that you're trying to go slow, you're going a little bit faster, a little bit longer each time, and then they'll wait for you to cast a long one, and they'll kick you instantly on the next one. So I've done that a lot where like I cast really long, I juke late, because I know like they weren't getting me instantly, and then I'll juke the second time really fast and I'll get them. It's like sometimes you just gotta alternate, because you gotta think what they're gonna do. You know, you don't want to, especially if you're a kicker, like you're kicking yourself, you do not want to be kicking at the same exact time every time. It's super easy to read, and you know, I've had a lot of players that you can read them so well that they will never get a kick on you, because all they do is they kick at, you know, 30% through a cast every single time. So I can easily just read it every time, boom, got the kick, you know, and it's just no questioning to it. It's easy, nothing to worry about that. And then you get the free cast for whatever 10 to 20 seconds, whatever the kick is. What else do I have on here? Oh, or something like cooldowns and rogue mage. So these probably go hand in hand. When the other team is popping cooldowns, their avatar, you have your cyclone, your images from windwalkers, you have combustion, you have whatever, shadow blades, I don't know, whatever it may be, people tend to kick quicker. All right, in dire situations, people kick quicker. So whether that be them popping cooldowns or a target being really low. So there's a lot of cases where I'm very low or my teammate is very low, and it's very frequent. Probably like 75% of the time, you will always get that kick instantly. So like, especially in rogue mage, the mage always wants to kick you instantly. I don't know why, but every single rogue mage is like that. They will always kick instantly. So, or not every single, but most cases. So like, you know, you're trying to burst, they want to kick you instantly, no matter what. They have cooldowns going, because they know if they kick you, game's over, right? So there's a lot of cases like that where, you know, again, if you're a low health, you're sitting at 20% health, you think you're gonna die, you know, they're gonna kick you quick. So I always try to do quick. If I don't get it, I probably won't even try to cast at that point, because it's kind of dangerous. So, but I will try to get the kick, because getting that kick will just make me safe for sure. I can cast a clone or whatever. I can just top myself up. Not casting for a while. So there are some people that, you know, especially being a druid, maybe being a holy paladin, or any class that doesn't really cast a lot, you do mostly instant cast, and then the one time you do, you know that they're gonna try to kick you quick. That's usually what the case is. If they notice that you're not casting like at all, like, you know, all you're doing is your hots, you know, you're in cat form, you're doing whatever you're doing, you know, you're holy paladin, you're just not casting at all. The second you do cast, they're like, oh shit, this guy actually casts, and then they're gonna try to kick you quick. So that's another thing I've noticed that would help me out. You know, if you don't cast for a while and then you cast, I will always juke fast again. All right, always juke fast when you don't cast for a while, because they're waiting to kick you the entire game. They're like, damn, I need to get this kick so I can get pressure. The guy's just not casting, and the second they kick, bam, they try to kick you. And then yeah, different ratings. So that's kind of what I was saying before. Typically at lower rating, it's not as crucial of a mind game. People tend to kick fast and the same time. You will see some people who try to do it late. It is kind of feels really awkward to juke late, but sometimes it's worth it depending on the class. If you're fighting like a mage or a lock that like they just burst, maybe not Warlock, but more so a fire mage, right? If they get that one kick and then they combust you, you're dead, right? So you got to make sure, you know, sometimes like usually the only time I'll start juking late will literally be after like I fake like probably like 6 times and I'm like, all right, this guy's just really not gonna kick. So I'll go here, and then know what usually happens? They don't kick at all. So it wasn't that they were trying to juke me late. They just weren't paying attention. So that actually happens all the time too. So you got to be mindful of that as well. Then again, at higher rating, it's just all about reading them. So you got to do quick, you got to do slow, you got to do all types of keeping just to keep the person on their toes. Corners. Okay, so this is a cool thing. So there's a lot of little tricks I use to juke. One big one is using corners, right? So, for example, if you, this works probably more so better for Druid than other classes, but if you can get distance, right? So let's say the melee is, you know, he's right here on this side, and I'm right here. If I do this all the time to fake cast, you know, so like if I'm in the middle of casting, right? And this guy's making his way towards me here. The second this guy is spamming kick. It works all the time, guys. The high rate, low rating. The second he comes in my line, juking. That wasn't a juke, but the second he gets in my line, boom, juke. It doesn't matter if it's instantly or whatever it may be. I'm always juking right off the corner. It works a lot, like all the time. Another cool trick, so this is, I actually had a clip of this one. This is something I've been trying recently that I just realized works all the time. So what I do is I think I got like this clone off a bash or something like that, right? I got this clone off a bash. These are high rated players too. These are very good players. So I intentionally cast late. So I know that my clone is gonna have a gap, and I will juke out of that. This works at all ratings, okay? I intentionally juke or cast out of the CC because 99% of the time that person is spamming kick because they want to get you before you clone, not knowing that you're doing this intentionally, right? So I cast late and I juke the second. So what I was doing here, I'm watching this countdown here. The second that hits 0, juke. And I got him on that, and then I got the reclone, and then we ended up winning the game off that, which is pretty cool. He polyed off that because this guy had no kick, and then we won the game. But this is a cool trick I've been using a lot, and it's been helping. You know, works with you know, if you're doing it out of poly or out of thing. Again, you don't need to do this. Like if you can just do it without a gap, it's fine. But especially when I'm playing like with casters, like I'm playing with a mage in this game, it's nice to get kicks out of the way for them. All right. And then next up, different classes. So specifically, shamans are a big one. Don't be so concerned about juking them. Wind shear is a short cooldown, short duration. I will still try to juke. Shamans tend to kick very quickly. I don't know why. All shamans tend to kick quickly, just because I think it's such a short cooldown. It's not really a big risk if you miss. But if you feel like you can't get a hang on this person, you can't get a good read on them, just get kicked. Who cares? You know, as long as the game's not going to end. If you really need to get that heal off, like it's a Swiftman and a Solar Forest regrowth, and you need to get it off to live. Obviously, you might have to throw one juke in there, but it's not worth like sitting there kind of spam juking the whole time, right? Another class. Alright, so melee. Usually, most melee will try to kick quick. I always say before, you got to try to juke early. Especially Demon Hunters. Demon Hunters love to kick very quickly. I don't know what it is. They love to kick quickly, and you got to always be aware of that. DKs have a ranged kick that requires them to be facing you. Okay, so this is a good thing to watch. So if if the DK is on me, that's different. I just have to, pretend like any melee is on me. But if the DK is like over here, remember it has a range. If you're in range of that mind freeze, I don't know, it's 20 yards or something like that. You got to make sure that you're juking. If you're max range, you might not have to juke. And if you are trying to juke him, I usually keep an eye on the person. The second the guy turns around or his character moves, I'm gonna try to juke. I'll try to juke quick first, and then I'll keep an eye on him. If I see him turn, I'll juke again. It's kind of you gotta be really quick with the reaction time on that because they have to literally turn and then press their mind freeze. Other classes, so pets as well. So lock pets, not that relevant anymore, but Destro locks are still out there here and there. Remember that the pet kicks you. You can do a lot of cool things to pets that will kick you. See, I guess Unholy Decay as well. You could root the pet over here. I mean, if you can get the root up, and then you can go over on this side and cast. He can't kick you. You could vortex. I've done this a lot with vortex. I will vortex the fell hunter over there, get my cast off that I need to get off. I've also rooted the pet back or behind the, or I should say that already, but trying to get kicks, you know, intentionally. I'll get a move on to this one. I don't think there's any other classes that I'm thinking of that would kick differently. Yeah, so just make sure you're tracking their kicks as well. I use Omnibar. Perhaps I should add that in earlier. I use Omnibar to track kicks, and then, you know, just keep an eye on that. Oh, another trick. Now I remembered it. The second kicks come off cooldown. So I think I could trigger this here. Was it Omnibar? Test. Okay, I know a lot of stuff's gonna pop up here. But for example, look at this counter spell here. It's got 5. People like to kick the second it comes off. So like I'll start here, bang. I'll juke as the timer gets off. That's really bad. There's way too many things here. But if you guys get the point. So the second their kick comes up, people like to kick because they think that you don't. They think that you think that they don't have kick. So like the second I see it there, I'll use this. I'm gonna try to do it one more time with the last thing here. All right, this pummel here. Ready? Bang, juke. Like the second it comes off, try to juke. That works a lot as well. That was another trick I wanted to add in there. Yeah, and then last one, intentionally getting kicked early. So this is a trick that I use when I know I need to secure a clone, or my teammate needs to get a poly off, or he needs to get a big cast off. I put myself in a safe position. You know, I can fully hot up, I can fully hot my teammate. I know that the kick doesn't matter, right? I will intentionally just sit out here and get kicked. Fine. I know the game's not going to come to an end because I have pre-hots already. I'm fine. I know this isn't going to change the game. So I will intentionally get kicked. So now they don't have kick. I can push in, get a cyclone or whatever for free. That works very well. I also do that all the time with Convoke, especially with the longer cooldown kicks, like, you know, a lock kick, mage kick, probably even boomy, things like that. So I will intentionally get kicked so that I know I have that 15-second window that I can get a Convoke without an interrupt. So I use that a lot for Convokes as well, if you guys see me do in my other videos. But I think, yeah, that's about it. So hopefully I covered everything. If you guys have any additional questions, feel free to comment below. I'll definitely answer any sort of question that you guys have about that stuff. And thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked the video, and tell a friend maybe. And have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.